Hello there. Thank you for stopping by the Inside Deschutes County podcast. We hope you click those subscribe and download buttons. Wherever you might be and however you might be listening, we appreciate you making us a small part of your day. Be sure to catch us wherever you listen to your podcasts. You can also find us on deschutes.org/podcast.
Deschutes County is an amazing place to live.
Ease of access.
Work and play.
Great place to raise a family.
I love the weather and the high desert.
At Deschutes County, we provide excellent service.
We're here to help you.
Deschutes County is the heart of Oregon.
Everyone wants to be here.
This is episode 11 of the Inside Deschutes County podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Eric Brion. We hope you're enjoying this podcast and learning a few things along the way. If you're just now beginning to follow us, you can always go back and listen to previous episodes. Lots of good information shared by various county departments on those episodes. We've got 10 episodes in the bank, so you can go back and learn a lot of different things. I'm sure we'll continue that trend today and learn a lot in this conversation. My guest today is Steve Dennison, the Deschutes County Clerk. Thank you so much for being here.
Hey, Eric. Yeah, thanks for having me. I thought you'd never ask.
Yeah, we've talked about that before, trying to get you on here. Where to start? There's just so much to talk about. Let's first talk a little bit about you. You're fairly new to this role, right? I mean, what, a couple years?
Yeah, no, I've been the clerk now. I was appointed in August of 2 years ago of 21. So yeah, still fairly new in the role. Elected last November, so I appreciate the support by the voters, and proud and honored to be in this role.
What made you get into this line of work? It's a lot.
That's a great question. There is. It's elections specifically. That side of the role that I'm in. A lot of people, get into it in various ways, and I wound up entering the election realm by going to work for a vendor, an election technology vendor, over 20 years ago. But started in North Carolina, traveled around with them or for them quite a bit, and wound up going to work for a county down in California. Straight from that company to a county, and I was there for about 10 years, and been up here. Working for Deschutes County, over 6 years now. So it's a roundabout way to get into elections, but it's fun. It's always interesting to hear people's stories because it varies. It's such a niche type of role and industry even. So there might be those political science majors that are looking to get into that type of area, but It's a role that's now being thrown out in the forefront, but for a long time it was something that was a little bit more behind the scenes. But
yeah. You and I've worked a lot together over the last year or so, and I've just learned so much about you and your team and everything that goes on at the clerk's office. I feel like clerk should be, like, you should rename that.
Yeah.
Like, clerk is an interesting, I think grocery store, like we're running through everything and, kind of cycling everything through.
Sure.
What would you name it?
Geez, yeah, that's a great question. It really is. Clerk is really it's a catch-all name for all the role, for everything that happens in our department, in our office. I wish I did have a better name, but something a little bit more creative, but it's such a broad range of things that we're responsible for. So I mentioned elections. The other things in our office, we record real property records. We issue marriage licenses, process passport applications. We run the county's record center and archives. We handle a few other odds and ends, Board of Property Tax Appeals, BOPTA. So there's a whole range, and I guess clerk being a term that's in the Oregon Constitution, it's just that's our name, and
You're sticking with it.
We're sticking with it, and it's other duties as assigned.
Right. So we are headed into the middle of October. Is your Halloween decorations up?
Yeah. My kids make sure that they are. Come around. October 1st. And I think the HOA lets us get away with it right around that time. I might have snuck it in a day before. But
How early is too early to put up the Halloween decoration?
I think about the time that you start to see decorations at Costco, being as early as ever. I think I saw some Christmas decorations at Costco in July this year.
Crazy.
Yeah, I think that's too early, really. So I don't know. I guess we're in the
your family kind of goes all out. That's what my understanding. Some pirates and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, we have some fun with it. Home Depot had a deal, had some pirate stuff a few years ago, and I went and grabbed that. And when you get one thing, it kind of leads to another, and until my kids kind of come out and say, "Hey, Dad, that's enough," and I don't. That might be the time I'll double down and really make things go. I'll go big at that
go
point.
Big or go home.
Once they get embarrassed.
I bring that up because it's now kind of the mark, a special election coming up. Can you walk me through? Mm-hmm. That's November 7th.
November 7th, yeah.
A special election.
Yeah, we have a.
Walk me through what's going on with that.
Yeah, we have. It's a small-ish election. It's about a quarter of our voters. Redmond Fire and Rescue is the biggest portion, about 37,000 registered voters up there. There's a small road district in South County, Ponderosa Pines Special Road District, and then there's a portion of Crooked River Ranch Rural Fire that loops us in, portion of our North County as well. But all three of these are measures, they're money measures, and that these districts decided to put on the ballot here. Not a scheduled election, so that's why it's considered a special. But that election date is there for any jurisdiction that wants to do this. So we'll have that, November 7th, as you said. Ballots will be going out here. Ballots have been mailed to military and overseas voters, and we'll be mailing to out-of-state voters and everybody else. So business as usual. And
once this is behind you, that's kind of turning the calendar towards the biggie, right?
Yeah.
How do you prepare for 2024? Because I imagine, a special election like this on a much smaller scale than we head into 2024, I imagine your team is now really starting to think about it and work towards that.
You can feel the anticipation for sure, and it's a lot of the conversation happening in our office, throughout the state, other clerks, other clerks' offices, and our conversations with the state Secretary of State's office as well. But a lot of preparation. As you mentioned, as we turn the corner here and look at 24, we're already in the filing period for that. So folks are coming in filing as precinct committee person positions, and there's a sheriff's seat, as you know, county commissioner's seat. Those are on the ballot for May, and again, that filing period's already open. So we're working on May, and then trying to do our best to prepare for the rest of the year. November will be it's going to be a lot, but these are the fun ones. We'll always set it up. We always set up these elections. We will conduct elections, and we always hope that people participate. You always want that. It's like planning a party, and you want people to show up and play a part, play a role. So having November presidential election, a general election like that, that is our highest turnout percentage type of election. So looking forward to everyone.
I was going to ask you, what kind of turnout do you typically get for the big elections or the presidential elections? Or
upper 80s. We do pretty well. Considering with motor voter and automatic voter registration, our rolls are bigger than or higher than ever. We're about 157, almost 158,000 registered voters, and growing. But with that, you might have some people that just they didn't intentionally register, so maybe they didn't want to participate. So that kind of bogs down our turnout percentage, I think, in general. But overall, it's really good in a November general.
What kind of pressure is on you in your office when it comes to these elections? Because I imagine, a lot goes into it to make sure everything is fair, everything is transparent. Yeah. How do you do that? How do you answer some of those questions? I imagine that's part of your everyday conversations with you and your team to make sure that this is run as smoothly as humanly possible?
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, that's a great question. That is the struggle. I mean, the pressure really, for me and for our office, our responsibility is to conduct fair and transparent elections, and to get it right, and that's what we strive for every day. But yeah, the real pressure is on that. It's related to the transparency and just the knowledge sharing. That I wish there was one approach that would handle informing voters. But it's not. We have our voters pamphlet. We'll put information in there. As you know, we'll do some social media. We invite the media to come in. We invite observers to come in and watch the process. There's not one way to reach everybody in the manner that gets the message through. But yeah, it's the struggle is really explaining what the process is and all the checks and balances that we have in place. To hopefully instill some of this the confidence in what we do, because the average voter doesn't realize how much work goes into it. Again, starting now for May, and as we get closer to the election, and unless you really come in and take a look behind the scenes, which we're more than happy to show. It's tricky to be able to inform the voters.
Do you get a lot of criticism? I mean, what's it like when you're walking through Home Depot buying those Halloween decorations and you overhear somebody making an off remark about elections or whatever? How do you process that?
I look at it as more of education. It's about that education and outreach. But again, not having one way to really tell the story. But I'll take every opportunity to do that, to educate. And the average person, once you either sit down with them, have a conversation like you and I have had, or do a tour and say, well, this is what we do, and this is where we do it, and these are the steps, and these are the checks and balances that we have in place, and these are our audits. The average person, after they hear that, they say, oh yeah, I get it, and it does work, and it is honest and fair, and these people are just trying to get it right. So, I handle the criticism with, like I said, with more of turning it around and just saying this is an opportunity to educate.
Can people get involved in the process? I imagine in terms of, I don't know, picking up ballots or sorting them or scanning them. What kind of opportunities are there for the public to get involved with the election process? Yeah,
definitely. And then let me actually take a moment first to talk about the staff in our office. There's 11 of us, and they are amazing, dedicated public employees, and they do such a great job. But we can't do it alone. We need those folks that can come out from the community to. And I wouldn't say volunteer because everybody is paid, but that's the real secret to our success is, in addition to the institutional knowledge that's shared within our office, it's those people that come back time and time again to work on our election boards, and they've been doing it for 10, 20, 30 years, some of them, to be the ballot pickup people and to help us at our counters and things like that. So yeah, we do look for help, and I think lately in the fact that elections are kind of in the limelight, and it's a presidential election coming up, and we certainly will have more people raise their hand and say I want to help than we have room for. Being a vote by mail state, and in of course here in the county, that we don't have polling places to set up. We're not moving voting machines around. Right. Everything's just right there, contained within our office. So really the biggest external need is for, to have the ballot pickup teams run around the county, on our schedule and just do that collection. But within our office, the week leading up to the election, we'll bring in probably 30, 40 people to process ballots. And then, so that's not very, very many when you really think of like the logistics of running an election. It's not a whole lot. So, but we're so fortunate to have people volunteer or raise their hand, like I said, to help out.
I'm sure you have plenty of people already in order to do those things. But if somebody did want to get involved, is there a website that they go to, or do they just call your office and raise their hand that way?
Yeah, that's another great question. It's as of right now, we haven't formalized the process, but thanks for asking, Eric, because that is where we need to go. No, this is great because we need rather than having somebody show up at the counter or call us on the phone or send us an email, these are all the ways that people will say, hey, I want to help out. We're going to set it up through HR and actually do a little bit more of a formal recruitment. Not even like do an announcement. It's more of somewhere for people to go to if they do want to participate or raise their hand.
Like if they're trying to get on the audit committee or the budget, that kind of thing.
Same idea. And it for us, it'll help because we can ask the questions. We could say, why are you interested in, tell us a little bit about yourself and just kind of formalize the process. And then not to mention having it be a queue too, right? I mean, once you start, I'll know that so-and-so signed up before somebody different. So it again just helps us formalize the process a little bit because people do come at us from a few different angles and like to rein that in a little bit.
Talk to me a little bit about young voters.
Oh, young voters, yeah. No,
and there's a reason I'm asking that question. It's going to segue to another thing, but do you get it? Do you see a good turnout from people 18 to 21, that kind of range?
Not really, to be honest. No. So right now. Kids or younger voters can pre-register to vote at the age of 16. Not sure if everybody knows that, but what that will allow is that once they turn 18, they'll automatically be mailed the ballot, which is fantastic. But yeah, we don't. It's probably one of the lower demographics, unfortunately, and I don't know why that is. But yeah, we would like to see a little bit more, but we need to engage them, and I think I might know where you're going with this.
Yeah. So my question is: so your office is doing something currently, just launching a I Voted sticker contest, and you're actually even going younger than voting age. I imagine there's a little bit of strategy there to try to get people involved in the process, kids involved in the process, bring them through high school, get them involved. Talk to me a little bit about this contest, what it's about, and maybe what the strategy is for even doing such a thing.
Sure, yeah. So, as you mentioned, we have that the I Voted sticker contest. It's the first time we've done one like this, or a sticker contest like this, and it is just a way that we can engage the students at their level to get them thinking about voting and what the process is and what it means to vote. It's obviously more than just getting that sticker, even though everybody loves that sticker.
Everybody loves the sticker, right?
Yeah, and another tricky thing being a vote-by-mail state is I'm still working on a good way to distribute these in a cost-effective manner. But anyway, we're kindergarten through 12th grade can participate.
All the way to kindergarten.
All the way to kindergarten. Yep.
Okay, and all the way through.
Yeah, if a parent is going to sit there and explain it and help them draw that out, I really hope we get some from the elementary school. But yeah, so K through 5 is one portion of the group, but K through 5 is we will be judging those entries here coming up in January. So we'll accept entries till December 31st. And we'll judge those for the primary election.
Okay.
And the winner will be highlighted in the voters pamphlet for the primary election. And we'll actually print out the sticker, the winning sticker, and we'll try to highlight a lot of the entries as well. But yeah, we'll go ahead and have those printed out, and we'll do the same for the K through 12 entries and winner. But we'll highlight that one in the general election next year.
Perfect. Yeah. That sounds fun.
Yeah, it's fun. I don't know. I know we haven't done one. I'm not sure if any other county has done one here in Oregon.
Have you designed one?
No. But one of my kids did. He was one of the first ones. Yeah, it was nice to have him mess around with that. But we've had art contests in the past. So my predecessor, Nancy Blankenship, had some art contests over the last few years. I think back in first one being in 2016. And some really creative entries from kids. And then we did another one in 18. And then in 20, we had a coloring contest, invited students and and adults to participate, and those came out great too. So.
You mentioned it a little bit earlier. You touched on it. Your office is more than just elections.
Mm-hmm.
It's marriage licenses. It's recording. It's, passports, applications, renewals, I imagine.
Yeah.
Talk a
New
little
ones.
bit about what else is, I bring this up because I got the privilege to talk to a member of your team, Jeff Sagasar.
Oh yeah.
Who is the recording supervisor, if I'm getting that.
He is. Yeah, he's the best.
He's like the county historian. I mean, he's keeping track of all these records and making sure that they're all archived. And I just didn't realize what all goes into the process. I mean, he took me back to these big rooms, and I mean, records that date back to the 1800s and then the
formation
beginning
of the
of the county.
Yeah.
He was like, the birth certificate of the county's in the lobby. You should go check it out.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, those kinds of things. Talk about everything that kind of goes in, and you must be proud of not just elections, but how everything kind of weaves in and out to get everything done.
Yeah, when you consider, what we, all the things that are under our roof in the clerk's office, we touch people's lives in a lot of different ways. Recording those real property records when you purchase a home, that's coming across our desk, right up till obviously voting, voter information, recording of death certificates too. So I mean, there's a lot, but yeah, we keep busy. It's day in and day out. Recording is very transactional, so our folks work really, really hard, and it's complex too. They're reviewing these documents, making sure that they meet recording requirements and things like that. So, but it's very transactional. It's I wouldn't say a bank teller, but it's kind of like that type of transaction where you're constantly having people at your window, doing transaction after transaction for a marriage license, for the passport, for recording, for a voter registration, and on the elections side, we keep busy maintaining voter rolls all day long, every day. It's not just around election time. It's it's whenever you move. Whenever you let us know that you move, or maybe the post office, USPS through NCOA, we find out that you moved, or other means. There's a lot of other ways we receive that information, but we're constantly updating voter registration. That's why those numbers are so fluid. But yeah, we keep busy, every day of the year, and it's when people think elections just kind of pop up. Well, they don't just happen overnight. They don't just get set up in a hurry. As I mentioned before, we're working on them well in advance, and then maintaining our rolls every day.
So the big message is register to vote. I mean, is that kind of what you try to get out every?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. Well, yeah. I say well, again, with automatic registration, most people are, but if you moved here from another state, you might not be thinking about it. So yeah, I would say definitely check your registration, check your information, make sure that your address is correct. If you want to affiliate with a party, do so sooner. I think a lot of people miss it. Even people that have been here for a long time, they miss that the voter registration deadline is 3 weeks before the election. So if you arrive here in the state, if you're new here, and the first thing that you thought of, or the last thing you were probably going to think of was, hey, I have to go register to vote because the election's coming up. But do so sooner rather than later, because if you miss that deadline, unfortunately, you won't be able to participate.
And make sure your signature's legible.
Yeah, and that signature is key. Yeah, absolutely.
It really is, isn't it? That seems so basic, but the signature part of it is a huge part of the process, right?
It's one of the biggest pieces. So in addition to us knowing that we mailed your ballot to you, and we know what there's a unique identifier on there on your ballot return envelope, so we know that it went to you. And but the verification when it comes back, in addition to knowing that is a valid ballot return envelope, is also just verifying your signature. We match that signature the way you sign your ballot return envelope. We match that up with whatever we have on file for you. So that's the biggest piece of validation, and it's critically important. to have that up to date.
Well, good stuff. Steve Dennison, County Clerk. Thank you for joining us. Lots of good information. Learned a lot about you. Into Pirates.
Thanks, and thanks, Eric.
Into Pirates. Walk the plank. If you're driving through the neighborhood and you see some pirates, you might have stumbled on Steve's house. But
That's great.
yeah, it's lots of good information. Special election November 7th. And
that special election November 7th. And I just want to plant a seed for anybody, for folks for next May being a primary election, is to also remind people that it's a closed primary election here in Oregon. So, which means that if you want to vote on something that's partisan, like president in the primary, you'll need to be affiliated with either the Republican or Democratic parties. If you're not affiliated with either one of those major parties, you'll still get to vote, but you'll only see nonpartisan items on your ballot. So commissioner and things like that. So and that party change deadline is the same day as the close of registration. So again, 21 days before the election is the last day that you can update your party. And this is often missed by voters because the ballots are mailed 20 days before the election. So they're literally mailed the next day. So by the time the voters have their ballot in their hand, they say, well, no, this wasn't the party I wanted to vote on, or I'm nonpartisan, but hey, I want to vote for president. It's too late, unfortunately. So being proactive and going back to check your information, you can check your information on OregonVotes.gov on the My Vote section. But yeah, go there and check out your information. Make sure that you're aligned to get the ballot that you wish.
Yeah, that's really good information. Yeah. And see, I knew we would have good information on this podcast, and people can go back and re-listen to it. And so,
fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. Steve Dennison, County Clerk. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Eric. Thanks for having me.
Well, we hope you enjoyed this episode. If you have questions about the election coming up, you can go to DeschutesCounty.gov/elections. Lots of good information on that site. You can also find information about the I Voted sticker contest there. So make sure you go check that out, DeschutesCounty.gov/elections. And if you have a question about this podcast or ideas for future podcasts, you can email me at info@deschutes.org. And remember to subscribe to the Inside Deschutes County podcast wherever you listen to your podcasts. Drop us a review, drop us a rating. We'd really appreciate it. But until next time, be safe out there.